looking through some of the film in game two between Miami and Boston, there are a lot of things that stick out. Just an awful performance overall. Obviously, offensively, there wasn't a lot they could get to, but we kind of expected that coming into the series. This was going to be a defensive series. We know their half court problems at times, but what was going to keep them afloat was the defense, forcing turnovers, getting out in transition, and different stuff like that, just getting stops against a Boston team that could also have choppy offense at times. So I want to go through some of the threes that Boston hit and just show the differences in Miami's defense. Basically, after we saw what they did in the third quarter compared to what they were doing in their specifically the first half in this game, which allowed Boston to basically pull away by 25 in that first half. So just looking at the first one really early on, 5-0. Immediately, it's Marcus Smart driving. First of all, if I go back, they get a switch. So now you see Gabe Vincent switching on to Robert Williams. That forces Max Strus to hug down. And if you remember in game one, what happened? Boston was basically 2 points away from getting a postseason record in paint points. They just absolutely dominated Miami in the paint. That it felt like Miami had some nightmares there where they just were not going to allow Boston to get easy paint points. So they were overhelping down in the interior, and it leads to stuff like this. Max Strus and Gabe Vincent front. Now Marcus Smart makes a really nice pass as Bam rotates that corner. He flings it to the wing. Now it's a Jaylen Brown three. Next up. Now it's Marcus Smart initiating again. As you see right here, PJ Tucker did a very good job on Tatum overall, and specifically game one, and they're going to need him to be healthy. I know there's an MRI going on this morning, so obviously they're going to need him in this series. But looking at the way he overplays right here, that just leads to a total breakdown, especially when it's chasing Tatum. The overplay, back cut. Now Max Strus has to slide over, and it's going to be an open three no matter what. Now Al Horford's getting a good look. A lot of this is Boston just hitting shots at a very high clip. I think it was in 50%, just around there. Giving them easy looks like this is just not what Miami wants to do. This is where they pride themselves. This is what they've done so well all season in terms of rotations. So this is the stuff that's problematic. Now, I know a lot of people have been talking about Dwayne Dedmon when he comes in. He's coming in for shorter stints. But it was a little bit awkward just seeing the way they were blitzing with him and just these late switches to utilize him on. He's not a guy you can really use for late switches because his recovery speed, obviously as a bigger guy, is just not at the highest. So right here, he doubles out. Now, Jaylen Brown picks up his dribble right here at the end. That is an indication that Dedmon should fly back. That's the point where that's the start of the rotation. Now, he picks up his dribble. Dedmon gets up in the air on him to kind of just get in the way of the pass, and now it's rotate, swing. Victor Oladipo hits a three. In theory, if he recovers, if you look at Victor Oladipo can get there sooner because Dedmon's flying back already. Now Oladipo's in position to be at Smart. He swings it to Pritchard and heroes out at Pritchard, and then a swing inside to Grant. Dedmon sitting there. That's the ideal rotation on this type of play. But that kind of late switch, he's not there. Now it's Oladipo with a late recovery, and it's a Marcus Smart three. Once again, Dedmon, late switch, kind of just scrambling. The thing is, this isn't like a Peyton Pritchard or a Tyler Hero or a Duncan Robinson on these screens where you have to make sure you get a body on them because they're pretty much going to die out on a screen. This is Caleb Martin. Like Caleb Martin can do his job on Jaylen Brown. He can fight over a screen. He can do whatever in that type of theory that this just felt unnecessary at times. Now he's in the way. Jaylen Brown just has to make one simple pass. Oladipo's in the middle of two shooters, and it's another three. Now, speaking of before when I said about the paint points, when they're getting switches like this and they're getting opportunities in the post, now with a Tyler Hero with Al Horford, three guys collapse on Al Horford because they do not want them to dominate the interiors. I go back one more time. Al Horford, Dedmon, Oladipo. Now a kick out could be made on the backside to Marcus Smart, or as we see right here, just a simple kick out to Grant Williams in the corner, and he hits it. Now, still in the second quarter now, Jason Tatum, just a late switch. PJ Tucker, by the way, was not happy with Tyler Hero on this specific play because they were fighting over screens here. It was pretty simple that Tyler Hero could have just retreated back to Peyton Pritchard, and Jimmy was the help guy at the nail right here. If Jason got an angle on Tucker, if he was a little bit late, they had an angle there. Now, if I go back over time just a little bit, Tyler Hero decides he's going to kick out at Tatum a little bit on the shot fake. Now Peyton Pritchard gets a wide open three on that left wing, which seems like every three from Peyton Pritchard is on that left wing. It's the last spot you want him on the floor to start taking a shot. Once again, they're going to help over on Tatum a ton. This you can't really fault them for. They're going to help over on Tatum because they kind of just have to. That's the type of player he is. He gets by Tucker a little bit. Oladipo's Bam's at the nail. Now it's a quick pass, Marcus Smart three. Pretty tough look. Like that's not the worst look in the world, but it's still the process of just seeing the looks that they're getting based off just what their star players and what the interior guys are kind of producing. Last one. Now it's Jason Tatum. Once again, a late switch over there. If I go back a little bit with Dwayne Dedmon kind of doubling out, now they have either when Oladipo is going to recover, it's going to be a Grant Williams wide open in the corner if they wanted to swing it one more time, but he makes this pass, a tough pass. Grant Williams is sitting there with his hand up saying, I'm wide open too, and Smart buries it. You're going to get some of these Smart nights. Like that's kind of known, but you're also going to get nights from Smart probably where he struggles from deep. That's just kind of the balance, I guess. But Miami can't have these type of closeouts, rotations, just defensive lapses, because you're not going to win against this Boston team if that's happening. The offensive stuff, you can get over that. Like that's going to happen with this Heat team. They're just not super elite in the half court offensively. What makes them elite as a team is that the defense kind of propels them in that way. But if they play like this defensively, it just hurts everything else for this team.